In my 27 years of studies about marriage, I have never seen a human being who stood up confidently to tell the world that marriage is not ordained of God. I have never seen a man like that who defended his claim that marriage is not created by God. It is indeed created by God. Even the philosophers, the 15th century onwards, that even Albert Einstein himself discovered the reality of marriage. And I will prove to you today, in the short period of my homily today, that you have no option but to follow God, since He is the creator of marriage. Think about this concept. The one who manufactured or created the product is the one who knows how to make the product function well. And it is also the manufacturer or the creator of the product who can tell you how to return it back to normal condition. So when there's something wrong in your marriage, that only means you are not following the design of the marriage. You may be abusing the product. Abuse is from the word abnormal use. So when you are not following the design of the marriage, you are abusing it. And you will be stressed all throughout your lives. Because when you get married, your goal is to make your spouse happy or happier before he or she met you. Making yourself happy alone is being done during your single days. You do everything that you want to do as a single because you want to please yourself. And that's it, actually the process before you love someone else. Jesus gave 3 steps. But the scientists will only give you 2 steps. So I'll give you the 3 steps that Jesus gave, because He is more capable of telling how He designed the human being, especially the male and the female models. He said, a Pharisee was asking Him or testing Him of all the laws that we are following, 666 something laws, which is the greatest? And He answered 2, because the question requires 2 answers. The first answer was, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul. Why? Because the moment you begin to love, study God, you will know yourself. You will know the potential that you have. You will know the capability that you have. You will begin to love yourself. You will begin to put more value to yourself. And you will not do stupid things to hurt yourself. Right? And the second is like unto it, He said, love thy neighbor as thyself. In other words, before loving another human being, make sure that you have completed loving yourself. You are 100% full, ready to give yourself to others. So in my 27 years of studies, every time God speaks, He speaks of a process. There's no shortcuts in our lives. So the moment you fill your love with value, you're now ready to offer yourself to others. That's why when you enter marriage, you left behind any vices or things that make you happy. Vices, we call that in Tagalog, bisyo. What's the goal of a bisyo? Bisyo is pagpapasaya sa sarili. Diba? Kaya pag binitbit mo yan sa marriage, when you bring that vices into your marriage, the marriage will suffer. Why? Because you have unfinished business. You have to, you have yet to complete your self-love process. Science will, when you malfunction as a human being, you become depressed, you become a victim of mental health. Scientists will, or the doctors will just tell you, go back to loving yourself. They will not tell you, go back to love God, because science is limited to that. But when you ask the Creator, your purpose in life, then everything will be clear. No, you have this direction, very clear direction. So that's the challenge of every husband, entering marriage without knowing himself yet. That's a big challenge. So I'm sure John has discovered that already. And John is now willing to give himself to Gina. And Gina as well. You have discovered your potential already, your goal. And you don't have unfinished business anymore, right? All right, that's good to know. Because it's also a challenge when you leave behind some family members to sustain. It will be a challenge to your marriage. Okay? Now, let's go back to Genesis, because that's where the marriage design was written. In Genesis, you will remember chapter 1 verse 26, he said, be fruitful, comma, and multiply. It is not the same meaning. It doesn't have the same meaning. The Filipinos have understood it to multiply babies. No? When they hear the word multiply, of be fruitful, that means having more babies. It's sad to say that we are living in ignorance here in the Philippines. And so I made a commitment to myself. I will not accept this as normal. Because God said, be fruitful first, with a comma. That means you have to go through a process first before multiplying. That's why there's a comma. You check your Bible. So how to be fruitful? That is the time when you know yourself already. Because we are like natural products, also like the trees. When the tree bear its fruit, people will come to that tree. You don't have to bring that tree to the market. People will approach that tree. It's the same with us human beings. When you become fruitful, John, people will just come to you. Because you have something that can solve people's problem. Right? Even if you live in the mountain, people will go up and look there for you because you have that solution to their problem. So that should be your goal, continuous goal. And she will submit to you, to your goal. Because it's a challenge for every marriage if there is no goal on the part of the husband. Where is our marriage going? So submission is not bringing your coffee, doing your laundry, doing everything you want, and command. That's not submission. Submission means deeper. Submitting herself to your goal, to your destiny. Because when Gina submits to you, you become one. If you want to fly high, then she should be flying with you also together. You should not allow Gina to be left behind and just fly high alone. It was the man who was commanded to have a goal. He said to Adam, Genesis 2:15, and God put the man in the Garden of Eden for what purpose? To work and to protect the garden. There was no work concept before. If you want to know the truth, go back to where the work was originated. Work in Hebrew means ergo, and it means vision. So if the man has a vision in life, the woman knows where the marriage will be going, or the destiny of your relationship together. And remember that Garden of Eden means order. Garden means order. So if your lives together are orderly, you will enjoy a stress-free life. But if you fail to follow the design of the marriage, you will always be stressful to one another. What's the next commandment? Work. Work and protect everything that comes into your presence. She now comes to your presence. You are now legally obligated to provide for everything that she needs. That's why they have this feeling of owning their own money and owning your own money too. No? Pera nila, pera lang nila. Pera ng malalaki, pera din nila. There's that natural feeling which they cannot resist. I don't blame them for that. It's their natural design to expect the man to provide for everything that you need. Why? Because you came from the man's body. She is your baby. That's why she expects you to love her all the time, to give affection all the time. That's how they spell love. AFFECTION, John. That's how they spell love. They expect every husband to care for them, to protect them, and to provide for everything they need. And when they have money, they will keep it to themselves. And your money is also owned by Gina. Because every woman is a man's baby, by Dr. Miles Monroe. Okay? And so, the man was commanded to have a vision. And when you submit yourself, you will not create any division. You are not commanded to have your own vision. You will put your vision to his vision, so you don't create division. Because two visions in the house means two, DI, and that gives you division. You will do everything or talk to people who will help you achieve your goals. You will also talk to people, spend more time to these people to achieve your goal. And you will be very busy separately. And you create a division among yourselves. You will not be able to talk to each other anymore because your focus is other people, not your spouse. And did you know that every woman who got married, God attached the word or the title helper to them, which means Ezer. Many times in the Bible, people will come to the Lord for help, and the name of God is Ezer. And He placed that title into the woman, which means God in the flesh. Whatever help you want, they are smart enough to give you the help you want, John. And if there's lacking in their personality, it is also your job to make them the woman in your mind. Okay? If she is still not perfect for you, then it's your job to make her the woman in your mind. If she can't cook, you send her to culinary school. Pay the tuition. If she can't speak good English, send her to language school. You pay for the tuition, John. Because your title, husband, came from the word house, bond, the one who binds the house together. So if you want to keep your family intact, that's your responsibility, John. It was left to the man. Because God, when He started humanity, He started with the man. He put the foundation on the man. And everything else followed. So remember that marriage started from the man, from us. And everything that happened in the marriage, whatever happens later, it's upon us to be blamed, whether good or bad. Okay? And so finally, I'd like to quote Albert Einstein. He said, marriage is a risk. When he said risk, it means it can shorten or lengthen our life. Right? It's risky. But you can only enjoy the journey with this condition. If you have one spirit. So if you are just one body, you are deciding together as one. You don't treat each other as your nemesis. You don't say negative things about your spouse when behind their back. It's easily for you to become one. Because marriage is from the word gem. It's the fusion of two elements, two precious elements. And how do they purify a precious stone? They remove every particles, every dirt, water. They put pressure on it, right? Before it becomes a valuable stone. So make yourselves one all the time. Do not decide alone. Do not surprise your spouse that you have decided this already without consulting your wife. John, don't be a dictator. Okay? So the secret is consulting one another and deciding as one. Because one body, according to Albert Einstein, requires only one spirit. Okay? It cannot be two spirits. Congratulations, John and Gina.